This episode of the XtremeAg Show is presented by Concept AgriTek.
Cowboy is the game changer, getting it in through the leaves and into the plant circulatory system. That's why this product is so effective at delivering both calcium and boron to plants at critical times when they need it the most.
Just like the name XtremeAg, what we deal with farmers today is extreme. There's always fears involved with farming, and weather's always one of them, but you know, tornadoes you hear about, and you hear how devastating they are. It is a true fear to have. I farm in Jackson, Tennessee, right in the central part of West Tennessee. I farm with my dad. I'm a third-generation farmer here, and in a given year we're raising about 400 to 4,500 acres of beans and about 4,000 acres of corn. So I finished up college at Murray State and came back and just started farming full-time. About a year after we got out of college, me and my high school sweetheart, Chrissy, we got married, and I guess about 11 years ago we were blessed with a daughter, Amy. She's a handful. She's into everything. She's full of energy. My dad's Alan Verell. He's very involved. He loves it. It's all he's ever known. And, you know, a lot of farmers don't have hobbies. Their hobbies is their work, but that's what makes him happy, and that's what he loves to do. So it's just been a blessing my whole life to be able to work and do what I love to do with my dad. In all reality, weather's the one thing that farmers cannot control. In 2008, in February, first part of February, a tornado came through.
A tornado warning's issued once again for Crittenden County.
Everybody was at my dad's house. We all had dinner there that night, and things didn't look terrible, but they were talking about the potential. And
me and Daddy went into the living room, and sure enough, the storm was coming in our general area.
Is moving just off to the east, and look at these new storms developing from Jackson on down. So kind of a new.
And sure enough, we started thinking it was going to get rough, and me and my dad thought, well, we'll just go put the cars in the shed, keep the hail from hitting them and dinging up all the cars. So we went out, and we were putting all the cars in the shed. While we were in the shed, we could hear it coming through the woods beside the house.
The wind, the rain, the hail, we were in trouble, and we started running for the porch.
When me and my dad were running from the shed, you got this eerie feeling. The electricity had went off before we got to the house, and it was just pitch black. And all you knew is you could hear what was in the woods coming beside the house. You knew what it was. You got to get to the house. The hail was hitting the ground around us. It was very large hail.
Oh, it's just a growl. That growling sound, I'll never forget it. It was just a deep, deep roar.
And we took off running, and literally we never shut the door on the house. When we went in, the door was sucked open. Me and my dad ran down into the basement. I can remember when we ran through the basement door, my mom was trying to hold the basement door shut.
You could hear the noise coming upstairs. Glass breaking, house shaking.
It was intense, and all you could hear was what was going on above our heads.
And then all of a sudden, it was gone.
We were very fortunate. None of the immediate family was killed that night. We were all safe in the house. We had neighbors, next door neighbors, that when we came out, we could hear them yelling and stuff. And some of them didn't make it. And it was just unreal because we really didn't understand that it was happening. You could hear it and you believe it and you could see the pictures, but when you walk out and see it, it's almost like a horror movie. On the farm, my dad and granddad's had 30 years of sheds and 30 years of equipment built up on it. So you could just see everything was gone.
My dad looked at me as we were walking and said, "Son, I'm 80-something years old. I have never had a place where I couldn't lay my head down. This is the first time. We lost it all."
If you didn't have the family and the community that we had, it'd have been a lot harder to overcome some of those things, because the amount of time and effort people put in to help us was a very big blessing for us. Honestly, within just a few days, we had all the houses tore down, all the bricks picked up, all the yards picked up the best we could. There was hundreds of people that were pouring out to come help us.
The very last page, it's a man and his wife sitting on an old telephone pole, talking. It's me and my wife. There's people all in the background out here doing work on the house. We built our house together, Michelle and I. We planned it, we built it, we lived in it for over 20 years. It was a good house. We had a great home. We had lots of friends. The silver lining is we saw how many friends we really had and family members we really had to come and help us when we were in trouble.
When I started farming with my granddad and dad, it was Verell Farms. We transitioned a few years ago to Verell Family Farms to allow for other family members to be a part of this in the future. So hopefully my daughter will take what we're doing and she can expand it on with the direction that she has from us and from my granddad and dad.
Amino Grow is an exciting new product put out by Concept AgriTek. What we've seen is an increase in fruiting sites as well as branching, and this has equated to yield.
Spot less. Introducing the cleanup for tar spot, gray leaf spot, southern rust, and more. Novel next generation Adastrio fungicide from FMC broadens your spectrum and strengthens your residual foliar disease control. Protect your cornfields with a proprietary combination of 3 modes of action. Visit your FMC retailer or at astrio.ag.fmc.com to clean up this season.
In the heart of harvest, victory awaits. Introducing Demco's high-speed, all-wheel steer, combine header transport trailers. Crafted for strength, engineered for speed. Demco, tailored for victory.
Some farmers I know swear by a name. Say they'd never operate anything else. Well, here are a few names for my Fendt 900 tractor. Fuel Saver, Time Maximizer, Game Changer. I like those names.
BioHealth is a product by Concept AgriTek made up of a consortium of beneficial biology that actually colonize the plant and boost the plant's immune system from the inside.
Things happen, you know, you don't ever want to see anything happen like this, you know, because it's just, It's never good. I don't understand still. I don't know what happened. You know, I can't even walk around it and figure out what went on to cause this fire. You know, a lot of times you can say, oh, well, I had a bearing out, or we had something like, it was still running too good, you know. Yeah. But obviously something wasn't happy. You know, we come in here the 1st of June and had several guys come in here and help us, you know, get the crop out. And we was running 4 machines, cutting 300 to 400 acres a day. And then we got a rain, you know, and we had a lot of our wheat out. So this was on the 2nd wave of the wheat cut, and we'd come back in here and we'd started back cutting. We didn't like but about 300 acres, 300 or 400 acres is all we liked. And we come in here in one evening and decided to cut wheat again, and that's when this happened. So we was cutting, and we was right up on the hill. And I was running this one. And we turned around up there, and we unloaded, just unloaded, wouldn't unload on the go, just unloaded. And we turned the machine back around, and when I turned around, I smelled something. And I stuck my head out the door, you know, we stepped on the door, and it was on fire back there at the back, like already on the wheat straw. When he done that, you know, I run back there, tried to put it out, and I couldn't get it. It just run through the wheat straw, and I couldn't get it out. So I jumped back up here, gonna turn the machine around, because the wind was blowing it hard. And so if I could have got it turned around, the wind would have blown the fire out from under the machine, you know, we could have saved it. But I couldn't, then it burnt the wiring harness, and I couldn't do anything with it. Pile off the ladder immediately. You grab a fire extinguisher. There's one on the ladder, there's one on the back, you know, and you know, you grab them, and I shot that, but I couldn't get it. It started in that straw, and I run out of fire extinguisher. Then I had the other machine come up. I grabbed both his fire extinguishers, run out of fire extinguishers, you know, trying to get it out of this thing, out of the straw, and it went south from there. You know, that wind in that wheat straw is bad news. So we called the fire department. And like I said, you know, when we rode in here, we're literally half a mile deep, you know, on a farm. And so it's very hard, you know, they can see the smoke, but they don't always know which way to get there. You know, so that takes another 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. And when something's like this, minutes seem like hours, you know. So, you know, when this thing catches on fire, you know, you're in a dead panic. You know, just get it out, get it out, get it out, you know, and you always want to know why, you know, what's on fire, you know, but you're in a dead panic to get it out. Once it starts burning, you know, this thing's got a couple 100 gallon of fuel on the back. It's got 100 gallon of hydraulic oil. Once those lines busted, you just might as well back up from it, you know. It definitely took a little longer to get put out, and you just, you know, when you run out of fire extinguishers from this machine and the next machine, you know, there ain't nothing much you can do. But the thing is, nobody got hurt. Everybody walked away, nobody got hurt. This machine can be replaced, you know, but nobody was hurt in the process, so that's the best part of it.
Adding Raytheon into your in-fur application, or even an over-the-top application, ground V3, V4, can do wonders in helping that plant navigate tough soil conditions as far as nutrient tie-up is concerned.
Control the toughest weeds with overlapping residuals. Lock in the longest-lasting control for your soybean fields. Authority brand herbicides, such as Authority Edge herbicide and Authority Supreme herbicide, combine the industry's most effective Group 14 and 15 active ingredients for a clean start and long-lasting residual control. Following up 14 to 28 days later with a post-application of Anthem Max herbicide through V6 establishes a heavy-duty, economical, overlapping residual program.
Claims are good and all, but I'm more interested in results. My Fendt Momentum planter delivers them. The only planter with automatic tire pressure adjustments, weight transfer across its frame, and inline center tandem wheels that eliminate pinch rows. It's just another way I know Fendt's got my bottom line top of mind.
Introducing Demco's newest dual auger grain cart design. Now equipped with the front folding auger and available in right side or left side unload options. Featuring Demco's corner auger design for optimal visibility. With a 22-inch vertical auger, unload at speeds of 600 bushels per minute. Demco. Outpace harvest time every time.
Sweet Success has been in the product lineup of Concept AgriTek for a while. We've seen it do a lot of things that you wouldn't think a blackstrap molasses product would do. Anytime you can increase the bricks content of your plant, the more healthy it's going to be.
So I farm in Quebec, and Quebec is just north of New York State. It's a huge territory, almost 3 times the size of state of Texas. A lot of forest, lakes. In Quebec, there's about 2% of the ground that is farmable right along the St. Lawrence River.
Unlike those who learn farming from their parents, first-generation farmers often start from scratch, facing the daunting tasks of learning the intricacies of agriculture with no generational guidance to rely on.
My parents were not involved in farming at all, so this is how I started out in 2017 doing custom works. So custom work is using your equipment to go work for other farmers. So they don't have the equipment to do it. So you're going to plant their corn, plant their beans, spray their crops. So I know that custom works wouldn't be for my whole life. That I want to farm more for myself than for others. In 19, I've been able to take some more ground. At that time, I was like 900 acres, and today I'm 2,600 acres. You have to work hard. You have to make longer hours than others. You need to sacrifice a lot of things. Money is tight, so you need the things done, the work done, but sometimes you're the only one that you can't afford to have is you.
Bordering New York State, southern Quebec has a short growing season, but with more sunlight that allows for planting of 88 to 90-day corn. Their threat of crop-killing frost is always present.
And if we're not lucky, we'll get a frost early June, and then after that, we have experienced frost on September 15th. So that's make a short season.
Getting access to cutting-edge farming knowledge is tough for a French-speaking first-generation farmer. Luckily, getting connected with XtremeAg made a huge difference.
A lot of information is in English, and about all we have is in French here. The knowledge is in French, but there's so much things happening in English. This is at the end what brings me to XtremeAg. If I only learn a little detail, but ag is made of little details, and these small details are really important.
So I got a good friend in Iowa. Every year I went to visit him. So in 22, when they opened up the borders, I went back in Iowa. So when I was there, I text to Kelly. So we meet together, we talk together, have a really good conversation on our soil types, our soil works. I talked about him about my high magnesium soils, and he gave me some tricks to try. So when I came to my agronomist and said, I'm gonna do this in my beans, are you crazy? I said, no, I'm gonna give it a try because it's supposed to do this and this and this. So if we never tried it, how can we learn if it works or not? So I give it a try and it works. So from these tricks, I've been able to gain like 20 bushel from our normal production. So I got 3 kids. I got a set of twins, a boy and a girl that are 17. And I've got the youngest one is Lambert, he's 12. Both of the boys are working with me sometimes. They are interested in ag. I kind of communicate that love for farming, you know. I know they saw me do a lot of sacrifice, do working late, working hard. I could go do something else, you know? But seeing my kids loving that and being interested like they are, I'm in, I stay.
Go long for season-long foliar disease protection that starts at plant. Active ingredient flutriafol moves through your corn plants as they grow for inside-out protection from roots to tassel. A single at-plant application provides comparable performance in corn yield protection to that of VTR1 foliar fungicides against diseases like gray leaf spot, northern corn leaf blight, common rust, and more.
Some farmers I know swear by a name, say they'd never operate anything else. Well, here are a few names for my Fendt 900 tractor. Fuel Saver, Time Maximizer, Game Changer. I like those names.
Harvest is just a phase of farming anymore. So harvest used to be you harvest, you washed all your equipment, you put it in the shed. Today, there's just as much work goes on after harvest as it does before. By the time we get through harvesting, that's when we get into our fertility management, our crop residue destructions, and all the other different things we have to do to prepare for next year's crop. So it's just a phase, but it's one of the hardest phases in farming. There's so many balls in the air during harvest. I mean, there's really no way not to be stressed at some point in time. These crops are time sensitive. You know, the difference in a soybean at 10% and 13% is a lot of money. And then you've got landowners. You know, we rent on share rent, so their percentage of that crop's out there too. They don't want it cut at 10%, they want it cut at 13%. So you're managing, say, 40 employees plus another 40 landowners. So that turns into 80 people. You're also having to manage the stress of all your employees. And I don't know if you would consider it managing stress as much as you would consider it managing fatigue. When you get that many hours under your belt without a rein, without being able to stop, safety becomes a problem. Your reflexes aren't as good. You know, a lot of this stuff's being done at night. You know, we'll run to 10, 11, 11 o'clock at night. You know, they get there at 6 in the morning, start servicing the machines, cleaning up. You just get fatigued. So there's a safety factor, and that's with the truck drivers too. You know, they're on the road, they're coming in 9 o'clock at night. For my wife, she'll be in the office sometimes till midnight, entering tickets. So it's a big deal, but I mean, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. We know that, yes, we may be basically killing ourselves today, but 3 weeks from now, look at the results. The cool thing about our operation is it's like an army. Our group moves as a unit. Their end goal is to finish up. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's what everybody's trying to get to. Because these guys are going to get 30 days off to go deer hunt and spend Thanksgiving and Christmas. They're going to get 45 days off. Well, I don't even want to see them. And that's the light at the end of the tunnel. So another important management area that you have during harvest is managing your family. These families, including mine, we don't get to see each other. You know, my son's wife, Ryan, probably gets to see him if she wakes up when he crawls in bed, and then he gets out of bed before she gets up. You know, he hadn't seen his two sons. He probably hadn't seen his two sons unless they come to the farm much in 3 weeks. You know, and you give up that family time, you get it back. I mean, you get it back in return when the crop's out. But there's a certain period of time there for about 40 days where you basically, you're a single man or a single woman or whatever if you're on this operation. And it's not just me or my son or it's everyone. You know, my guys that are on those machines, they don't get to see their families any more than we do. So it's a big sacrifice, but it's worth it.
It changes everything, so says Indiana corn grower Nathan Davis about innovative Xyway LFR fungicide from FMC. Xyway brand fungicides are the first and only at-plant corn fungicides to provide unprecedented season-long inside-out foliar disease protection.
Precision is understanding the potential hidden within. Decoding the specific nutritional needs of your crop. Maximizing every nutrient and getting the most out of your yield. We break down the science in a way that works for your crops and for you. Apply less and expect more with Precision Crop Nutrition from Agro Liquid.
In the heart of harvest, victory awaits. Introducing Demco's high-speed, all-wheel steer, combine header transport trailers. Crafted for strength, engineered for speed. Demco, tailored for victory.
If you've driven through the countryside at harvest time, you've no doubt seen this machine. It's called a combine, and it's amazing. The combine, a primitive version of which was first invented in 1835 by a Michigan inventor named Hiram Moore, has evolved quite amazingly. This machine gets its name because it combined three aspects of harvest: cutting, threshing, and winnowing. In other words, taking a full-grown crop, like a stalk of corn or a grown soybean, and putting it in the hopper just as the grain. This machine is used for pretty much everything that is a commodity grown: corn, soybeans, wheat, canola, sorghum, rice, you can name it. This is a grain head, used for everything except for pretty much corn. There's 2 heads that go on the same machine. Once it goes into the machine, it goes through the feeder housing. The feeder housing then goes into an area that beats up and knocks the grain out of the plant. Ultimately, the debris goes out the back of the machine and the grain goes in the hopper, ultimately then to a semi, a train, maybe into your belly.
We talk a lot about the nutrients that we use on a farm, but what we don't talk a lot about is I call it kind of nutrient aids. And so I want to talk a little bit about humics and fulvics. So humics and fulvics are basically acids, humic and fulvic acids. And you hear a lot of people say humics, you hear a lot of people say fulvics, and a lot of people don't know the difference in the two. And there's not a lot of difference in the two, other than they're made out of the same product, which is called linerdite. Linerdite is basically organic matter and compost from biblical times. So back in the old biblical times, or dinosaur times or whatever, a lot of this green material that has deteriorated, there's mines of that now. So that's called linerdite. And linerdite is mined basically, or it retrieves what we call humic and fulvic acids. So, we use both of those, and there's a difference in the two, and they're both similar. So a humic acid is basically for the soil. So when we're talking humic acids, that's something we would use in our in-fur and our wide drop. When we're talking about fulvic acids, then we're talking about foliar type. So use F fulvic, relate that to foliar, and H with the humic would be the soil. They both do some of the same things, and some of them, they do some of the different things. So a fulvic acid actually is the product basically softens up the membranes of the plant to allow nutrients to go in. So it's used as a carrier. Humic acid is more used for food for the biology, it's in your soil, whether you're talking about earthworms or, just biological organisms. We use both of them. And, I'm gonna say 10 years ago, we kind of looked at this more as a snake oil. As I progressed in my farming career, I realized the importance of being able to pull these nutrients in faster. They're used as a buffer type, something. So, it's kind of like, if you relate it, I relate everything to sports. It's kind of like the offensive line getting the running back to the goal line. So you've got these blockers out there that's taking these defensive guys out, running back goes in the end zone. Same thing with a fulvic acid or with a, humic acid. You're using that fulvic to basically tell that membrane of that plant, hey, let me take this stuff in. So we actually use a combination of both for both applications. So there's a product that we use that is a blend of humics and fulvics both. Our product has more fulvic probably than it does humic, but it's a combination of two. You can also get dry humates, which is straight linerdite that comes in a 2,000 pound maxi bag or a truckload. And we use that, the straight linerdite humates, we use just soil applied. Are you gonna see a significant yield increase the first year? No, but you can actually take those humates, which is the humic and fulvic beginnings, and you can increase your CEC on your soils over a certain period of time. We're working on that now. We've got 40 acres that, we put 150 pounds out. We're gonna continue to do that. We didn't see a yield increase last year. We've seen an improvement in the soil this year. And we're hoping about 5 years from now that we turn those CECs from a 6 to 7 more to a 12 or 15. When you can do that, that starts getting us more in the Midwestern type soil. So it's a really essential part of getting the nutrients into the plants and also into the soil.